Alright, it's time to determine our children's games of the year in this episode of Little Big Thumbs. Okay, so I think context is pretty important here, and for this list of the best children's games of the year, we need to mention that at the time of this recording, my children are ages 6 and 8, and over the course of 2023, we have played dozens of brand new children's games, and over the next few minutes, we are going to be sharing the 5 games that stood the short-term test of time with our family, and from those 5 games, we're going to pick one that will be our children's game of the year for 2023. And at the end of this video, we're going to be drawing a name out of this jug of paper entries here to determine the latest winner of our Golden Thumb giveaway. Speaking of the Golden Thumb, let's take a moment to acknowledge the 3 games that took home our biggest prize in 2023 as experiences that we found to be equally amazing with children at the table, but also when there's just adults playing. Alright, so here we go. These are the 3 games that received our highest honor, our Golden Thumb in the year 2023. In March, we gave the award to HONK, which is published by Sinister Fish Games. In HONK, we're collecting resource cards and using them to acquire geese from an absolute mess of them on the table. We can only claim geese that are completely uncovered by other geese, meaning that the timing of picking cards is super important. Can you be the player to find the most golden eggs at the bottom of that big goosey pile? That's the question that this game asks, and we thought it was a tremendous experience for both little players and big players, regardless of who's at the table. Now we'll fast forward to July, and the second game that received our Golden Thumb in 2023 was Diced Veggies from Kids Table Board Gaming. This is a unique game in which we're drafting dice from a large block and using an actual cardboard cleaver to chop dice off of that block. We're going to be using those dice to complete recipes, and this is a game that's designed by young players with young players in mind. But it also wound up being super fun with just adults at the table, which is why it received the Golden Thumb. And a fun fact here, we love our KTBG games, but this is actually the first game of their lineup to receive our Golden Thumb Award. And most recently, we awarded the Golden Thumb to Illiterati, which comes from Gap Closer Games. This one is a cooperative word-building game, and it absolutely lit our game table on fire with the way it caters to older players with some really interesting combination of mechanics, but also has the option to remove layers of the game to include younger players and get them involved in a way that teaches some new skills, but is also super fun along the way. Illiterati is the game that we're doing that Golden Thumb draw for at the end of this video, so make sure to stick around to the end in case you entered the contest to see if you might be the lucky winner. We are already picking out our Golden Thumb nominees for 2024, so make sure to stay tuned to the channel, subscribe if you're not already on board, so that you can find out the next game to win our prize, and with it, one of those Golden Thumb giveaways. And now, let's prepare to reveal the absolute best kids games that hit our table in 2023. Aside from the Golden Thumb games that we mentioned just a moment ago, there are 5 games that have been hitting our table over and over again over the course of 2023, and we're going to show you what those games are right now. Now, we're going to be listing these 5 games in alphabetical order, and then from those 5 games at the end, we're going to reveal which game we have declared the best children's game of 2023. Now, the first game on our list is Deduckto, which comes from GameRight. And this is a card game. It's a deduction game in which each player is going to have 6 cards in their hand, but one of those cards is facing out towards the other players. And that's a secret card that each player needs to try to figure out in order to win the game. Every time we play Deduckto, we wind up playing 3 or 4 times in a row. It's just so much fun, adorable artwork, and we just keep coming back to it. I don't see that changing in 2024. Our next game is Hansel and Gretel, which was brought to North America in 2023 by Foxmind. In this cooperative game, players are playing candy tiles into a grid, while the witch Baba Yaga chases the children around the gingerbread house. It winds up being a lot more thinky than we might think at first glance, and it's not always easy to win this tricky cooperative game. We've mentioned Sheep Hop from Space Cow several times throughout the year, so it's no surprise that it's on our list of best children's games of the year. This is another cooperative game where we're rolling dice and using those dice to choose which of our sheep we're going to be moving across a very dangerous pasture that's being patrolled by hungry wolves. Sheep Hop may skew a little bit younger, but my little bean has absolutely been asking for this game over and over again over the course of the year, and that's why it's on this list today. Sushi Go! Spin Some for Dim Sum is the second game on our list that's published by GameRight, and it's a literal twist on the classic Sushi Go! Card game. This one strips a lot of the more complex decision making that happens in the Sushi Go! Card game, which, while that might not be super appealing to adults, makes it a really enjoyable and accessible game for kids with an amazing toy factor. And our final nominee for this list is That's Pretty Clever Kids, which is published in North America by Stronghold Games. This one takes the wildly popular Clever series of dice and roll and write games and streamlines it all into a way that is accessible for kids to play and enjoy. The opportunity to create amazing combos still exists in this game, just like it does in the bigger adult-focused games. And what makes this one stand out to me is how frequently my older daughter has been teaching this one to friends and family and classmates. If you're looking for great games to play with kids that are maybe in the ranges of 5 to 8 years old, these 5 games are options that you won't go wrong with. You'll have fun with your kids, but quite possibly you might not want to be bringing it to the table when it's just adults around. All that out of the way, the best children's game, in our opinions, of 2023 is Hansel and Gretel. Over the course of the last year, Hansel and Gretel is the one game that's come closest to winning our Golden Thumb Award without actually crossing that finish line. It's an absolute gem for kids to play together or adults to play with the kids in their lives. First impressions are super critical for children's games, and Hansel and Gretel offers something that's really unique without adding a whole lot of cost to the final package. The 3D gingerbread house was a completely unnecessary inclusion in my mind, but it makes the game look like something that's coming out of a pop-up book, and that really brings the entire game to life. And given that it's just a couple of pieces of cardboard sitting inside the bottom of the game box, it adds so much to the game with the least amount of material possible. But once we're past that visual appeal, the gameplay needs to be there in a big way to keep us coming back over and over again. Every candy tile in Hansel and Gretel has colored dots on the edges, and at the end of a round, we count up the dots on the outer edge of our overall puzzle to determine how far the children and the witch will move. Figuring out which pieces to play really will keep us on our toes, and if we're focusing too much on completing those candy shapes that are going to help us win the game, we might miss out on the witch actually catching up to the kids as they race around the outside of that colorful board. Foxmind and Grana have already released one other of these fairy tale games based on the story of Cinderella, which also has a wonderful pop-up look to it. And I hope there will be many more of these pop-up fairy tale style games in the coming months and years, as we just absolutely loved Hansel and Gretel. Alright, we've got one final segment in this episode of Little Big Thumbs. My older daughter is going to join us as we figure out who's going to be the winner of our Golden Thumb giveaway copy of Illiterati.
Welcome back to Little Big Thumbs, and today we're going to be doing the Golden Thumb giveaway draw for Illiterati, this word game about words.
Now, we've spent the bulk of this video up to this point talking about our favorite children's games of 2023. We've got a stack of them here, games that we came back to over and over again over the course of the year. And so looking at these 5 games, Harriet, which is the one game that if you wanted to play it right now, which one would you choose?
Deduckto.
Ooh, Deduckto.
But if I had to choose one to not play for sure, I would pick Sheep Hop.
Sheep Hop, right?
Because it makes me
it
makes me so sad that the sheepies die, right? Who's with me? Can we get a sheep's rule in the comments?
All right, so Golden Thumb giveaway. Over the last month or so, folks have been putting in their favorite literary villains into the comments of our Illiterati video, and we put all of those names into this jar. So, Harriet, why don't you give them a big shake? Like, put your hand in there, stir them up real good.
Real good. I just want to say,
Open it up. Who's the big winner?
Evil Lion 5873.
Right.
Congratulations, you won a new Tesla. Just kidding. You
What?
haven't won a new Tesla.
What is with you?
Just kidding. You've won your own copy of Illiterati.
We'll drop a comment on your comment on our Illiterati video, and then we'll find a way to connect. So that's going to wrap things up for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to Gap Closer Games for sending us a copy of Illiterati and supporting the Golden Thumb giveaway. Thank all of you for entering the contest. Thanks for watching. All of those things. And Harriet, do you wanna sign us off for today?
Sure. Whether you've got literary players, pun intended, or big players, make sure that you're playing games that make your thumbs go way up. Bye for now. Bye for now.
No! In my face.
That can be in the bloopers video.